Today we'll be speaking with Harry Rowser, a caricature artist based in Corpus Christi, Texas. Hey Harry, how's it going?
All right, so what's going on this morning?
Hey,
How
no.
are you today? I know I'm just sitting up here reading my Bible and stuff. I was like, let me get ready. Let me see what I got to say. So, all right, well, we'll fire away, Alex. Let's see, let's see what kind of questions you have for me today.
Well, that's perfect, because the first question I was going to ask you, going right away to a deeper level since it's early in the morning. What do you think this calling of caricature is all about? What do you think it means?
What do I think it means? Um, well, I think for to me, drawing caricature to me is about so many meanings to me. But I think the number one thing would be memory. Like I believe that when you can put positive things in people's in their head, that they tend to respond positively. So that's the reason, number one, that I do draw, because I feel like drawing gives back to people to help them to mentally be able to see the world better. As artists, we have a gift, and we have a gift to make to change the world into whatever we want it to be, and we have the power to bring other people into that world. And so that's what it's really all about to me. It's just encouragement of people. Then they have these secondary things. Of course, I make a living from it and all that kind of stuff. But primarily over time, as it changed from my immaturity as a young man to an older man, I started to my priorities were different, and I began to see why the Lord allowed me uh, to have this particular talent of not just and I think it's not just drawing, it's just anything. I think that a lot of artists are creatives in a lot of other ways. It's just that we music, decoration, decorating and just putting things together and seeing things differently. It all kind of all goes into one thing. I hope that they answered the question for you.
Yeah, that definitely answered the question. I found that interesting to think about, just affecting how people perceive the world around them and maybe themselves. I think that's a really interesting spin on it,
Yes.
and maybe a really important one.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, that's a lot of why you'll watch my live streams or whatever. I try to share God's word. I try to do ministry work outside of what I'm doing here on my. It's not just in the office, but constantly just being in prayer for people, because the condition of our world is we need more. A lot of people are discouraged, and they wear smiles, but they're discouraged. And it's because they have so much negative information uh, to access on the internet, and these things are affecting. I go to a church where they have a huge youth uh, gathering. I've never seen anything like it. In fact, that's what one of the things that motivated me to stay there was they're just these young children looking for answers and seeking out God and seeking not to. They're even starting to see that this is something that's not right about the total. I think apathy of people, just kind of like not feeling um, things the way they should. Back when I was growing up in the '70s and '80s, you know, if someone was hurt or killed or something like this, or or we would feel sorry for that person, and that would be a long going process. You know what I'm saying? It was like we didn't hear of these things every week or every other day, or so it gets to be an overwhelming for an adult. So I can imagine what the children go through. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
And I mean, you've been drawing pretty much, it sounds like your whole life, doing caricatures and things like that probably for just about as long. And when did the ministry aspect and the character aspect really start to connect for you?
Um, I would have to say that happened maybe about mm, I want to say we started this channel in about 2011, 2012, somewhere around there. And I guess me and my wife were married about 5 or 6 years. We would go to church and stuff like that because I had a head knowledge of God, but I didn't have a personal relationship with him at that time. So um I didn't really understand a lot of it. And then as maybe about 5 or 6 years into my marriage, my wife was monumental and her family were monumental in me changing the way I think about things. Uh, her uncle was our pastor. Her cousins are pastors. I'm always going to conferences and listen to men that are on fire about God, just listening to them. And I've always had that. I felt it inside, but I didn't. I think more. I suffered from a kid with self-esteem things, so I always felt like I couldn't. I was afraid to express outwardly what I was thinking inwardly, for fear of being rejected by people. And once I overcame that, because I was chasing views on YouTube at first, you know what I mean? And I'm not the kind of person that really cares about stuff like that. But I was sometimes you chase money out of fear. You get what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so I started um, just regularly attending church, regularly attending men's meetings, regularly attending Bible studies, small groups, and things of this nature. And then one day, the Bible said to me to dedicate everything you do unto the Lord, everything, and it will succeed. And I was just like, well, I wasn't getting uh, the word I'm looking for. I wasn't getting ahead in what I was doing, the way that I was doing it. It was kind of like I was trying to find this identity. In fact, if you go back and look at my first videos, I was trying to be young to fit in. Um, if you could, but I was trying to use their lingo and try to almost change the very essence of me to be something that they would accept. And then that was feeding back into the problem that I was having. And God said, "You see, this ain't going to, no matter how, only thing that younger people are going to see is an old man acting like a kid." You get what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
all they're going to see. They're going to spot fakeness. You know what I mean? And since this is not really who you are, wouldn't it be easier for me wouldn't it be easier, God was speaking to me to just be you and let me drive? I'll show you. And so I was like, okay. And when I did that, um, everything changed. Things started slowly changing. And then it became that I don't care if I lose every viewer on YouTube. I'm going to share the word of God because they're not taking care of me. If I could tell you my story is vast, and I've been through a lot of problems in life, and this is the first time in my life that I can stand on my square and survey the land. That's what it says in scripture that when a man gets to a certain level with God, and when you don't need people in a way that's irresponsible. In other words, you need them to validate you. Anytime you look at a person like that, you can't help them because you're so concerned with them liking you that you can't give them what they need. And if you really are concerned about helping people, you know what I'm saying? No doubt when you think of it, you go to a doctor, you're not looking, the doctor is not going to ask you, well, to do the procedure that they're doing, it's an emergency. You just been rolled in here. They need to fix you. You get what I'm saying? And so
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot
truth,
of sense.
yeah, you don't go ask them, well, do you want this needle? Do you need this? Do you want me to give you this blood thinner, or do you need this medicine? Most people actually have no idea when these doctors start talking about medical jargon and all that stuff. They don't understand all that stuff, right? So it's like, what are you asking them for? You know, a lot of the times you just have to make, I think that a big part of spreading the gospel is just is and being and doing it this way is just really sharing testimony. I don't lie about things that I or make up things to tell people. Only thing I don't even so much. Sometimes you'll see me preach from the word, but when I'm preaching from the word, God always gives me a revelation of my own life. So I'm able to go back to a point in my life and say, "Holy smokes, that does apply to my what's going on with in life, and that does apply to me, you know, as a man." So you know, again, starting this, I'd say it took us about maybe 5 or 6 years of actually being in this social media thing and connecting with people and finding out, you know, like what once I found out what direction I wanted to go in, I've chosen that direction, and so now I'm just gonna keep my feet going that way, and then you know, I hope that answered the question though.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And do you find that it's hard to break through the social media, or since you've started this journey, you've just noticed like a lot of people are sitting up and listening and following it, and it's just built and grown.
Wait, repeat the question. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. So do you find that it's hard to break through with the social media, with all that's out there and all of the things that seem to run counter, to
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. I don't think that it's difficult. I'm gonna tell you because let me say it like this. I think the key to life, the key to being happy in this life, the key to having true joy is in contentment. And contentment means to be okay with where you're at. Not saying you want to stay there, but
right,
you're if you understand that you only right now, just like literally in this interview is and we're talking. This is the only moment that you only truly possess. You don't possess anything that's already happened to you, and you don't possess anything that's going to happen because it hasn't happened yet.
right.
So if where we're at is the only thing you literally have. And so things get hard when you start thinking in terms of future. And the scripture tells us not to worry about tomorrow because it has its own worries. It has things that you're going to have to deal with tomorrow, but you're trying to make tomorrow today. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so getting navigating the sea of social media, it's like I don't even have when I turn on the computer and I go on my live, you know what my practice is I'm really in my mind, I'm not talking to because I have young children. I'm 53, I have two young sons and a little girl, and then I have my oldest daughter, which she's 30 years old. But what I'm doing is creating a series of videos for my children to listen to when I'm not here no more. So when they go
right.
back, they'll be able to sit. This is not for, this is to help. This, you can help people by helping yourself. You get what I'm saying? And know thyself. You help yourself. I'm encouraging myself. I'm talking back to myself. I'm saying I'm my own psychiatrist. I'm my own, you know, healer and mind healer because it says, greater is he that is within me than he is in the world. So I'm constantly when I'm reading this Bible, I'm feeding my spirit. And then as I'm feeding my spirit, and I'm doing it because I'm dedicating it to God. And I said, God, well, give me an idea with this social media thing. Where am I supposed to go? Who am I? And then that's when it all came together. God said, consider your audience. Who are you talking to? I'm not trying to reach those that don't want to be reached. That's why you'll hear when I speak about the Bible, I don't come across like I'm forcing something down your throat. Rather, I'm sharing something with you that made me good at, like, I got good at art. This is what I did. Okay. And then developing myself spiritually was also a part of how I got better at drawing, because that gave me the thing to say, don't stay down, get up, don't quit. Don't do this for the wrong motives. Ask yourself, why are you doing all these questions I asked? And so that's when God gave me the idea. Hey, you know what? There are people. So every time the people that I know that I love that are close to me, every time I turn the camera on, I might put a picture there, whatever, and I'm looking at them and I'm talking to them. I might be talking to my little brother. I might be talking to my kids one day. I might be talking to my best friend and saying, because something that we're dealing with. And then the thing is that human beings are connected, so we go through the same stuff. So you basically look at the suit that I put out there, and you say, "Hey, that suit fits me," and then you put it on. You get what I'm saying? And then you'll be
Yeah,
like, yeah. And then, oh, wow, this actually does fit me. But this is the way out of this suit, too. I didn't know that there was a way out of this by doing it that way. You understand? And so
yeah.
that's really what changed the trajectory of why I was doing this and what I was doing and navigating through what is the social media thing. I just don't, again, get caught up in what people think about me and what they say and all that. I don't know if you've ever heard my story about how I even when I moved to this city that I'm here in South Texas, right by the uh, the Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of
You're
America.
down. Yeah, yeah. You're down in Corpus Christi, right?
Yeah, Corpus Christi,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
And so they when I came down here, long to make a long story short, when I first what I was in San Antonio. In San
Okay.
Antonio, they had a before I moved here, I was in San Antonio. So when I moved there, just to give you an idea of how San Antonio was and how you can, you know, is that there's a large amount of tourism, and so people are always coming there, and I never really had to worry about like uh the next person that I would draw. You know what I mean? Because I'm in an event, I'm at a party, I'm on a riverwalk. So, and then I had a lot of
Right.
contacts that I had made there. And basically, all in the name of taking care of my wife's grandmother. My wife's grandmother needed a care provider full time. And my wife was the only one that was qualified to do the job, considering finances and all kinds of different things for her, for our family. And so my wife came to me about it. Of course, I didn't want to do it at first because keep in mind, I wasn't all the way. I kind of was thinking about like, I got to do this myself. So I need to do what I got to do. And y'all my family, and you can't make me move away from all my money so that I can go down here. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Yeah, you're a man. You understand what I mean. You have family and stuff. So if you have family, or you take care, you tend to kind of think toward that I gotta provide. And so that was one of the most powerful things in my life where when this happened was me and my wife said, well, look, let's just pray and ask God to tell us what we should do. And so we decided to do a 3-day prayer and 3-day fast. Uh, Specifically to God to give me some indication that He wanted me to do this because keep like I said, I wasn't completely in a relationship with God at that time, you
Right.
know. But I was going to church and I was doing things, but I'm still feeling my way around. And anyway, on the third day of the fast, I remember driving to work and my I called my wife. This I normally do before I go down the little thing in the escalator. And I says, well, it looks like God didn't come back with nothing. So it looks like we're staying in San Antonio. He didn't give me no indication. You know what I'm saying? And she says, well, actually, I just got off the phone with my family. And it's funny that you called because my grandmother had just fell in the house and hurt herself. And because she was by herself, nobody knew she couldn't get off the floor. And she was just there for a day or two on the floor. Right. Um, I was like, "Are you serious?" And she said, "Yeah." And this has happened today. Like, they found her today. So
Wow.
I was just like, oh snap. Like, so now I'm starting to see this is this coincidence or is this like a, you know what I mean? My mind, I was like, that's impossible. This is, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I went and I said to my wife, I said, okay, um, all right, God, this is what you want me to do. I'll do it. I said, you said you're going to take care of me and my family. I know and so and to add to that, I just want to say that I had a lot of earlier in my life, just to add the weight to the situation for you. It wasn't. It's not like generally once you have I was young, so I got in trouble, and when you have a strike on your record of any kind, uh, that strike becomes where you can't fill out a job application or you can't, you know what I mean? So on top of me moving away, there was no, I can't, I'm thinking in my mind, I can't go apply for no job nowhere except if a burger place, you know what I mean? Or
Right.
something like this. And so, because that unfortunately you have to pay for things that you do. Some things you have to pay for life. You leave a scar and it's there for the rest of your life. And so that's just something I had to deal with. So that just added some gravity to all of this for you. You know what I mean? There was a lot of things going on. And so I decided, I said, okay, God, I'm going to move. And and I pouted the whole way. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, I did. Okay. It was, and I went, when I got here the first day, we got settled in or whatever. My wife was like, "Well, let's just go out and see if you can find somewhere to do what you do here." The same thing we was doing in San Antonio. There was a limited amount of tourism here, not like San Antonio level, but it was
Right.
it's a lot smaller, a lot. And so I was like, okay. So now I went to a Chewy's restaurant here. They were just building one because my niche was to draw in restaurants. When I went there, I saw they were just building this one. And I was just like, I just walked in and asked him, could I draw there? And the lady told me, she said, I don't mind you drawing here and stuff. She says, but my regional manager, he normally doesn't like solicitors or any kind of the restaurant, stuff like that. She says, I'm telling you, he's probably going to say no. But I don't have a problem with it. He is here today though. So when he gets out of his meeting, you can have him, you can talk to him. And he's on the patio, and I was like, okay. So I sat in the front waiting area of the restaurant, and I got my drawing pad, I got my pencils, crayon, everything, and I'm ready to um, demonstrate to him what my skill level is, to show him that, hey, man, I just want to make some money in here. I'm not here to, you know. And
Right.
I said, and also I'm calling because in San Antonio, I used to draw at a Chewy's that was next to the house I live at. Sometimes I would draw there. In fact, I've drawn at Chewy's twice, several times in San Antonio. But then also when I went to another city here in Texas, I had drawn there. My cousin invited me there for a Cinco de Mayo and had me do something there. So I'm calling around to all these Chewy's and trying to get a manager on the phone so they could vouch for me. And I can't get anybody, and I'm nervous. I need to get this thing going. And I said, okay, well, the lady comes out and says, well, he's here. He's ready to see you. I said, okay. So I go outside, and when I look at him, I put my hand out to shake his hand, and I said, hello, Mister. And he says, Harry, how are you, Harry? And I said, how do you know my name? And he said, because you draw at my Chewy's in San Antonio. I know exactly who you are. He says, in fact, you're so good with people. I'd love to have you do that here. I said, for
Wow.
what?
Hey.
That's what happened to me. I'm not lying to you. This is what the guy knew me by name when I walked in. And I said, this is like totally weird. Then from that place, from that one restaurant, okay, I met uh other restaurant owners that were eating at that restaurant. I met the circuit judges. I met the doctors, the lawyers, everybody that's important in Corpus Christi study was eating at this restaurant. Then I got plugged into them. And then they started doing, they have events and they have parties, and they started hiring me for these parties and these events. And then it just boom, right? And I was just like, and I'm standing there like, holy smokes, like it kind of brings tears to my eyes to talk about this, but to see that happen to me, it was just life changing for me. It was just
That's
like,
powerful.
okay, yeah, you just don't you learn not to question, what you're supposed to be doing at that time. I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I know this is the direction that I'm going. And so I don't how I navigate through social media is the same way now. With that kind of a faith, I navigate social media. I know God's going to bring the person. I don't need a lot of people. I just need the right people. I don't need everybody to follow me. So that's why I have in my with this channel here, me and my wife were able to reach people that actually want to invest in what we're doing. We have a vision to spread the gospel to the young people. That's the generation coming up. If we want to see something change, and how better than to reach young people? Because I'm gonna tell you, every young person that I saw, every young person that I know, just about that I've run into at restaurants or anywhere, you know what they like to do? They like to draw.
Yeah.
All of them. They will sit down and they will draw. And the moment that I show them something that I just came up with, oh, look how easy it is to do this. Oh my God, I didn't even know you could do that. And then and now I've got a connection with them. And so that now they believe me because of drawing. Well, what else will you believe me at? You know what I mean?
Right.
They've
Yeah.
developed a respect for me as a person, and now I'm not preaching at them. I'm sharing. That's different.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm not, that's why you'll never see me really just like when you get to that word of the day or when we're doing that, it's like I said, it's not me telling you you're going to hell, you're going to do this or that. I don't know where you're going. That's not my department. You get what I'm saying? I just know what I was commanded to do. So that's how I navigate social media.
That's like the best answer to that question I think I could have ever gotten or hoped for. Well,
Yeah.
I know like I was happy to study with you for a brief period of time. You have a fantastic method of instruction, uh,
Well, thank you.
and your
I appreciate
style is great. It's that classic cartoony. You've got that classic cartoony caricature style that I think people really respond to. Uh, and I don't know if you're set up right now to do it, but like, are you familiar with like sharing screen? I was gonna ask if we could take a look at
Well,
some of your work.
what you can share screen, but what I have is what I'd have to do
Oh
because
yeah,
I didn't I could have done this on my computer where I would have been able to share screen. But
no
now
worries.
it's in order for me to wait a minute, I don't know. Let me see. Hold on a second.
Oh yeah, if you got something.
Wait, let me see. Let me see here. Hold on. I might be able to if I can if I'm in here correctly. Let me see. I might be able to do something like this. Let me go to let me navigate this this
Yeah, I know the
this
technology.
technology.
All
All right,
right.
so what is it that you wanted me to
Well, I was gonna see if we could take a look at some of your work, and it looks like you've got some examples.
Oh yeah, these are just ones that I've done for like live streams. So this actually was the last live stream that I did. I have just a little, just some celebrity ones. Of course, you could probably tell who that is already, but without the names, I think it's clear that
Yeah.
pages yourself. All right, and then I did like a Miss Doubtfire. That was the last stream. You remember this guy from In Living Color?
Yeah, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, yeah, homie, don't play that. So, yes, I do home, and these are all like requests. So you know how I do it on the live stream, I'll let them do X a request or whatever, and then I'll just do that request for them. All right, then here, you remember who this is?
Oh man. Now it's been a while. I
That's
recognize this face.
Otis, the security guard from Martin. Remember
Oh
Martin,
man,
the
I remember
TV?
Martin. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and he used to dress up like this security guard, and he would be like, I think it's sweet old Otis, you know, you know, you just committed a 5 to 10. I never forget when he said that he was about to arrest this guy coming out the store, and the guy punched him. And he says, "Oh, you done committed a 5 to 10." He said, "A 5 to 10, what's that?" And he says, "I'm about to whoop your behind for 5 to 10 minutes." I said, I said, I said, okay, well, you so right, Otis. All right. Then this was his other character I did. This was remember Shanae?
Shanae. What
That
was
was
she
the girl.
from?
She was in Martin too. He used to
She
dress
was in
up like
Martin.
this ghetto sister. These were his these. This is one guy dressed up in as different characters because he would dress up like this guy in one, and then he dress up like this guy in the same show. Then I got, of course, you know who that is.
Yeah.
That's a guy from that's Jim Carrey and do what do they call that when nature calls. And then of
Oh,
course
we
we
got the
have
mask over
the
here.
mask. And then I got some. I don't have that. Most of my stuff. I once I draw it, I have a vault of drawings in my. But I have a few here. I just put them in that little vault, and I have drawings for man. Shoot. And, if I didn't know that we were going to do that. I would have bought some of my stuff because I actually started as a
Oh
portrait
yeah.
artist. So I would just now this is just a few of my. Let me see what I do here. This is a Selena one that I did
Oh nice.
a long time ago. Um, Now these are just random drawings, like just me, like when I'm practicing, like stuff. I like to do a lot. I don't know if you remember Ted Lasso. That was a show that came out not too long ago.
Yeah.
All right, then sometimes I'll go online and I'll find different YouTubers. This YouTuber here was actually called the 14th the adventurer, Jim Baird. So I found this thing and I drew him, and he's a guy that just goes out in the woods and just tries to survive for a long time. Uh,
That's amazing.
yeah, so he's a pretty cool guy. Let me see. Then we got the Peck brothers. I don't know. That was one of the Peck brothers. I don't know. They had big pecks, I guess. And these are just ones just messing around. Uh, Let me see. What else do I got in this? Oh, now I'm gonna tell you that this one. I don't know if you know about Texas, but we have a Whataburger here. We're big on Whataburger. So this little kid wanted to be I did this. This was a rough. This is the first one I did, but then I wound up changing it and kept the same idea. But it was a picture of him as Captain Whataburger.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, so I did one of those for him a long time ago. Let me see here. What else we got? Okay, this is one of my favorite R&B groups from when I was a kid. Right.
Wow.
Belle Biv DeVoe, right? Of course, you know who that is, right?
Now here's the thing. I listen to a lot of R&B, and yet I do not know Belle Biv DeVoe. So I've got to
Oh,
maybe look that up.
yes, you do. You never heard that song? It's driving me out of my
Oh wait,
mind.
that's who did
That's
that?
why
Okay.
yeah,
And then
that's
yeah, I
them. That's this
definitely
group.
I knew the song, not the name of the artist.
Yeah, yeah. This is about. They used to be actually. These guys used to be a part of New Edition,
Okay.
and then they broke off and made their own group. And so it was only three because there was five of them in the beginning. And the other two went solo, and then they decided to do their thing together or whatever. So, all right, then we got who is this? Oh, these are some famous baseball players, maybe. Uh, Tom, somebody I don't know, but he plays for the Braves. And it was like I made these into like baseball cards because that's the
That's
idea of
awesome.
this. Okay, and then of course we have oh, started when we were young and you were mine, my boo. Remember that song? This is Alicia
Yeah,
Keys, and Usher at the Super Bowl.
man.
You remember that year they performed at the Super Bowl? Okay, let me see if you know who this is.
Oh boy, the whole cast of Seinfeld.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I love that Elaine.
Yeah, yeah. That looked just like that. Yeah, Lane. She was one of my favorite. This guy here he was funny. All of them was funny. They just work well together. I don't know.
Yeah,
Let me see. Now, what else I got here? Oh, okay. Let me see. And this one is I don't know. This is just some a request. I don't remember. It's some rapper guys. I don't know. Some of these youngsters. That's how I know some of these groups and stuff. That's current because they'll ask me to draw 'em, and I'll just and this is my one I did of the Black Panther
oh,
series.
nice.
Okay. I don't know uh how that
Wow. No,
came
that's
out.
awesome.
Yeah, these are the Black Panther. Let me see. Okay. Of course, Tiger Woods. That was a I don't know, his neck kind of messed up on that one. All right, let me see here. Oh, now this is one of those old school back in the day, the singer girl
The
groups.
Shirelles.
Yeah, the Shirelles. I never heard of them before, but I just picked when I first started doing this, I would do on every stream, I'd have a theme. And so some themes would be like from the 70s. I'm gonna do some 70s artists, or I might do some sports celebrities or just whatever. And I would put them on here.
That
And
sounds like a fun series.
yeah, and then now I have Patreon. We started Patreon as as more of a fan support page. We started that maybe I'd say about a year ago, and we have some pretty good success with that so far. Mostly it's me sharing a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So it's kind of like you're not just talking to me about, I'm not just sitting there instructing you about drawing. I like to talk about life and things that are just affecting me as a person, affecting society. I like to think outside the box a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, can you still see me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know. I wanted to make sure you okay because I couldn't see your picture or something. I think you. Oh, you might be looking. Oh, now I see it because you have it like a. You have like a. Okay. Well, you can have multiple speaker view. Oh, that's cool. You see, I'm just
Yeah. No, I've
learning.
been figuring this out little by little as I go along, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Like we can switch over to different kinds of modes, I think, and
Oh, yeah.
different kinds of styles of.
And this one was just a portrait of a young man. I don't know what happened with that. That was, oh yeah, somebody asked me to join this on a live stream. Yeah, that was what that was. So sometimes they don't want to keep it. They just want to see it.
Right.
It's something. I don't think I have very much stuff in my office. Most of the other, oh, and I'm thinking all of most of the other stuff that I have in here is just here, let me show you. Uh, most of it is just me practicing. Like these I keep as my practice books, and because it's side because I'm gonna try to put it forward, but it's kind of hard to do because of the way this camera is set up here. Let me
I
take
understand.
put this back in the desk in the bolt. All right, now this is my and so this is like my laboratory of like what am I like how to put things together, you know what I mean? Like when I come up with an idea, I'll automatically run to my book and then I'll put it in there, what my favorite head shapes are. Uh my style of drawing was very much influenced by graffiti. When I was a young man, I did a lot of graffiti type things. So oh wait, I'm covering my face up, ain't I? But you see what I'm saying? I'm trying to get this to PJ. Okay. All right. So that was this one. And then as we go through here, You'll just see different ideas. Like when I'm drawing bodies, I like to draw things where you use basic shapes versus
Yeah.
using I don't you don't have to have this uh, knowledge of anatomy, in other words, to do body drawing, like when you do themes and stuff, because caricature is meant to be a very simple form of art. And I think sometimes people don't get that. They put way, I think, too much details and stuff. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Tom Richmond was by far one of the best teachers his book taught me a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an awesome book on caricature.
Yeah, his book taught me a lot. It was a lot, and what his book taught me, one of the biggest things out of everything that he showed me, what he said in that book was that your caricature needs to be able to translate from a distance.
Hmm.
Does that make sense to you?
It's like any good design. It has to speak, even if you're kind of a ways away from it. It has to pull you in sometimes, I think.
I think of the face as an abbreviation of your actual face. So
Okay.
things that I need to leave out, that's not going to really affect what you look like. I leave it out. A pimple, you know, a scar on your face, something like that, or your head shape, for instance, is just to me is it's just a scaffolding. So a lot of times I'll think of the head like this in my head, but then I'm kind of softening the edges to the shape. So it makes in my mind it makes everything more symmetrical to me. You know what I mean? My
Like
body works.
everything with your caricature, it's like it's all about this shape language, which is really important, I think, to get across.
Right, right. I think that, and that's the first thing that I teach in my classes. My first couple of classes when they take a class with me, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna draw caricatures on the first day." I'm like, "No, we're not. We're not gonna draw caricatures for the first 3 or 4 classes because if you don't understand the shape language, I have a language. In fact, I'm putting that up on Patreon now. The my it's a shape, basically like a hieroglyphics of caricature. You know how the
Right.
Egyptians use pictures and symbols to represent things? Well, I do the same thing for all of my everything that you could possibly draw. Whether you're drawing a car, I I, I have pretty much a language, a letter, a number, or a symbol that represents that thing. And then what you can do is you can, how can I put it? You can design it or draw it in a way that's easier for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of like if I told you okay, for instance, lips, right? The letter M and the letter U, right, are my one of my teaching techniques, okay? So if I draw a smile, which is what most people's smile is, just a basic idea like this. Well, if I put an M here and a U here, then it becomes lips on the smile. I don't have to think
Hmm.
about that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Uh, if you're drawing a mouth, the mouth is this shape right here. You wouldn't believe how like powerful this shape is. It's absolutely in everything I've ever. I'll look at people's things and I'll say, "Holy smokes, the way our body is shaped is in this shape. Okay, the way our head is shaped is in that shape. The way our feet are shaped, the way our hands are shaped, are all kind of based upon these ideas." And this one being one of the most popular ones. This one and circles, and this one, and then also I noticed that the square, the circle, and the hexagon, which that's what this shape is very prominent. So like the hexagon, I've used that to, like, if I take that hexagon, some basic stuff that you don't need to know. Take a look at the lips. Can you see them?
I feel like I kind of can within this, it's when you think about what you were just showing us with the M and the U, it would be along a line through this
Right,
shape.
exactly. This is the line along the middle, or you could just simply make it go in half, and then you could do like this, and then you have a different kind of mouth. You know, you understand what I'm saying? Or
Yeah,
you can use the top of it, and then you have a different kind of mouth. This is more like somebody that has big teeth in the front. Like if you ever seen a person, like if I drew this shape here, my teeth will come from here. You see how it looks like the teeth are like real big in the front here.
yeah, yeah,
So but all I'm doing is recycling one shape all over again. So if you know where you're starting at every time you draw, you have that's going to help you. Just you're going to be so much faster, than the other person. And one of my things I like to, I've just developed over time because of the way that I draw is speed. So if I'm people hire me, I have actually an event tomorrow. I have one tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow. Yeah.
tomorrow will be
And
Tuesday.
so not Tuesday, on the weekend, excuse me. So when I go, but sometimes I have them during the week. But when I have an event or whatever, I'll do like I'd say I could. I usually tell customers I can draw anywhere between 25 and 30 people an hour, right?
Mhm.
So, but that's really like a lot of people that, especially considering the fact I'm not charging them by the person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, these are my little drawing, my little. This is just one of my little drawing, but this one's a little older, but it has all kinds of just things that I just be thinking about, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I never thought about that before. Let me see if I could do something with that. My Michael Jordan head, right? Like what he is right there. Can you see his head right there? Is Michael
Yeah.
Jordan. Yeah.
The second you said that, I
Boom.
saw it.
And then all of these are just again ideas. I don't draw in my book like those other sometimes you'll see artists have a lot of extravagant artwork inside of a thing because they were just sitting around doodling. I don't generally do that because I'm a teacher. I'm not a at heart. I'm not a like a Picasso like. Does that mean, I don't even know what I'm saying. Do you get what I mean when I say that?
I get what you mean.
Yeah,
It's
I have.
interesting to look at this. It's like schematics or blueprints of like breaking
Yes.
it down. It's very organized.
Yeah, I didn't even, I was I've been trying I started writing a book. I actually finished all of it on my computer. And then I started thinking about like so many ideas about how I want to present the information. And I thought I look at other books. I looked at Tom Rich's book. I like the way I like the way he did it. But at the same time, I think that book's for somebody that understands what's going on. That
Hmm.
somebody that doesn't know anything about caricature will get lost in that book in the first two chapters. You know what I'm saying? Because it's stuff that's not common information, or information you can relate to almost uh, on every page. Some of the information, yes, but some of the concepts are way over, um, their heads. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like, what are you talking about? So I just kind of, I want to approach it where it's more like this, where even the drawings that when I illustrate something to you, because I'm from the 70s, I'm from the 80s, so we used to handwrite everything. We didn't have all
yeah,
these computers like they got now. So we just sit down and we just, we'll put some things together and we'll draw it. A lot of the stuff I do, my video edits and all that, I just do very primitive video edits because nobody watches videos because of that.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's either you're
yeah.
interesting content or you don't. And then, you know, that's it. Okay. I think well, pretty much, let me see. This is how I do it. I just go and I have a whole bunch of these.
That's
I have
great.
this one's another one of just different. Oh, my spray can technique. I remember that one from a long time ago. Your head, how I thought about this one day, I was sitting there and I was playing with a can of hairspray. And I was like, man, this looks amazingly like somebody's body. And then I tried to turn it into it. and then it's excellent for seeing the head and body connection. The spray
Wow.
can half body, and you see the top. You see a little hole from from the spray can in the front of the face right here.
Wow.
This little space is like that little hole
Yeah.
that goes on the can. Right. And so that kind of tells me where all my features are going to be. So I started thinking about that. Then I did a family photo portrait here using that technique. So to help you to be able to position your heads better. Let me see here. Oh, that's LeBron James. And I was just playing around. I want to be traded. Help. Okay. And then over here, we got some more. Oh, we got some more interchangeable spray can heads.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
So you can use those for your head shapes. Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff. Alex, you know what? Now I understand what because Alex, you took a class with me before, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I was like, why the heck do you look familiar to me? Like I seem like it's like I thought this was gonna be somebody that I just randomly I've never seen. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I got to looking at you just now. I said, man, I said, I'm sure this guy's taken a class with me before. And
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I had to make sure I got you on the show right right away.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, thank man. I didn't know. I was
Yeah.
like, man, I thought at first I thought, wow, I must be I must be pretty famous. As if somebody asked me to interview me. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, I thought Alice already knows who I am. Yeah. So
But hey,
not
I
to
mean, that's
say,
how I found you. I found you right away. I mean, whenever I was looking for trying to learn some stuff about caricature, so you weren't hard to find. You're still famous.
so what other artists what other character have you done? Now, one guy I like to, I've talked with a couple of times or we've been messages back and forth is Mr.
I'm
Alanis.
trying to get him on the show. I sent
Okay,
him a
yeah,
message.
yeah. He asked me one long time ago. We were going to do a collab, but
Nice.
we just never got uh got down to it because this caricature artist. I'm gonna put it like this: for me, being a dad at my age and having to be so nothing is written in stone for me. I can't like when I try to make plans, but I think that again, I think God's so awesome because he's made a way where I don't really have to overwork myself with this. What it's a uh, how can I put it? My channel has changed now. Well, I just had a vision making everything shorter
Mm,
because of the terrain that we're in. Everybody's attention span. Not everybody. Let me take that back. You will find in cases that attention spans have been shortened. So if you unless your video is really interesting, like for instance, if somebody likes to explore the deep blue seas and you have a blue sea video with all the edits and all the documentary type styles, those things will get watched. But when you're talking about drawing caricature, it's such a niche topic,
hmm.
right? That most of the time people just want to be entertained by it. They don't want to learn it. They want to see you do the caricature, right?
Yeah.
And then if you have a little bit of personality, you talk about what you're thinking while you're going through it. But I just started this new approach of refraining from doing too much because and you can do more a lot of the times by doing less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just need the bare essentials: a paper, a pencil, a camera, and and lots of what's the word I'm looking for? Lots of love for what you're doing because that's the first thing that people pick up on.
It's
You
true.
know,
Yeah.
do you love what it is that you're doing? So what are you doing caricature now?
Right now I'm painting and I'm incorporating some things that I've learned about caricature kind of into the paintings that I'm doing.
Hmm.
That's where I'm kind of at right now.
Oh,
So I'm not doing
okay.
commercial. caricature, but it's something I'm thinking about doing.
You
Jumping.
know, just as a, you know, it's a, well, I don't want to talk about your bucket list. You might be too over, but you got to, you got to have it on your bucket list. You know, just
Yeah,
I don't know. When I did it, I just jumped out there. Everybody was like, "Well, taking classes and all that. You can take a class and all that." But I'm going to tell you, mm, if you, there's no getting around. I think people want a magic pill that's going to make them see, right?
yeah,
Every you get without the work to get to that point. So, um, and I've almost I think that my teaching style embodies that. I think maybe that's why
yeah,
I've been able to have some success at teaching because I teach it like a uh, where I kind of take all the options out of it for you. Like when you're drawing something, stuff, I let you be creative, but within a space. And I think that's where creativity is born at. Creativity is, I say this all the time. If I locked you in a, how old are you, Alex, by the way?
39.
39. Okay. Have you ever heard of MacGyver?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you remember MacGyver was like this really crafty guy. He would get locked in
Just
a
put
room or
anything
something.
together.
Right. And he'd have these four things, and he'll say, now, if you don't figure out how to get out of here, this bomb is going to blow up, and you're locked in here. How are you going to get out? Okay. Now, there's two ways out. The guy might say, you can either figure this out with what you have in this room, or I can open the door for you and just let you out. Okay. Well, our society thinks just let me out of the room, but
Yeah,
that's not creativity. But think about the building itself. When you're locked in a space with limited options and you have to create from that, now that's creativity. You get what I'm
I agree
saying?
with that. Yeah.
So that's what so thinking not necessarily thinking outside the box, but thinking outside the box inside the box. You know what I mean? Because the box is always going to be there, you know. But so that's pretty much how I try to approach. I try to make them be creative in giving them the basis. So if I said, okay, make a guy, I want you to make a caricature for me, but I want you to make or a drawing or a body or whatever. But you can only use squares. Okay. So then now the person has to sit there and say, okay, got a square, square, and square, and square, square, and another square. These are my square little wheels, right? You know what I'm saying? And then let me see. I don't know. And then, square or rectangle. Rectangles are forms of squares to me. You know, but let's go somewhere in this car right here. You understand what I'm saying? We just make up a little car. If we make up a body, we'll just start stacking the shapes on top of each other, to do different things. And so for my first classes are always going to be kind of like that, uh, because this unlocks their mind to understand where I'm going to take them to.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if they don't unlock the mind, I'm just basically talking to them, and they don't have any. They feel like Doctor Strange. You know, ever seen that movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And he was like, "How do you get from here to there with my hands? And even if I could move my hands like that, I don't know how to do that." You know what I'm saying? So I try to teach them that way. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, these are again some of my drawings, and this is like what I do. This is how I do it. And I don't know where I'm going in the future as far as with this, how this is going to work out or play out. I just, like I said, I take it one day at a time and one gig at a time. Because one thing about caricature is straight commissions.
Yeah.
So any type of artist, you have to, it's not just the people see the drawing board, but it's not just a drawing board. I think to be having this level of success as an artist, you have to have develop yourself as a person.
Mm.
The artist that sits in his bat cave and just draws stuff in his cave, and just hangs it on his wall. There's millions of paintings in his basement. That's, I mean, that might be a level of success internally.
Yeah, they might be happy with that,
Yeah,
but
they might be happy, but we're talking about people that are, you know, uh, I think art's made to be shared with the world. I mean, if God would have
yeah,
said, "Let's make birds and all that," and then He never let us see them, you know what I
right.
mean? Then that would be, I think that would be jacked up. But that's not what happens. You create things and let people see them. And so just
Mhm.
I think my advice, I always ask my students, why do you want to learn caricature? Some of them, and I have people from all different walks of life. They'll say, I want to do just on the side because I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a life coach. I've had all kinds of different people take classes with me. And people, I was like, why are you taking a class? You make $1 million a year. I know you're not trying to be a caricature artist, right?
Right.
And then it's like, no, because I've always had this little kid in me that liked to draw. And you seem
Yeah.
like a fun guy to draw with. That's simply what is it. I was like, well, thank you very much. I'm glad that I'm here for your entertainment. you know?
Another
Yeah.
question I was going to ask you too, and I don't know if you're, again, I don't know if you're set up for this or if you'd be willing to do it, but would you be interested in doing a live caricature for us while we talk through it if I sent you a
Oh,
picture?
yeah. Well, what I'd have to do, let me see here. Yeah, I could. Let me see if I could do that without messing anything up.
That's the
Because
trick, right?
I only have two screens here, and
I could send a photo through the chat on here if you
well,
think
no,
you would be able
actually,
to
hold on a
handle
second. If you hold on just a minute, what I'm gonna do is send the picture, and then I'm gonna get my wife's other phone.
it. Oh,
And then
nice.
what I'll do is I'll just bring the picture up here and just draw it here, just where I don't disrupt these. So just send it to me through the messenger on Instagram has a messenger, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
send it
could
on
do
the
it that way.
Instagram messenger. Give me just a second while you're sitting there. I'm gonna go get this other phone.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, hold on.
All right, we have sent.
All right, hold on. Let me get a sheet of paper out, and I'm gonna take this away because this is too much stuff going on. Okay. All right. Now, what I'm gonna do then? Find a marker here. Let me look at my. It's testing out the marker to make sure I got a good point on it. Okay, so let's
Good
pull up
old
this.
Sharpie.
Yeah, you gotta have it. Hold on. All right. So this is the picture.
Yeah, we try to send only the best, you know.
Yeah, I know that looks. That's you, isn't it? Oh yeah, but I said that look like you. I said, man, I look like you, except you look like a. I'm gonna tell you who you look like. You look like a guy that's about to give us the news. Yeah, on something. Somebody's. You look like. Let me tell you what happened today in Hollywood. Mhm. You're not gonna believe what I just saw. Okay. All right. So let me see. Now this picture here. Hold on. Let me turn my
Got a bit
light.
of that three-quarters view, I think. It's
Yeah.
just
Hold on.
some people find that tricky, but
I'll just put it.
I know we've talked
Yeah.
about that view before.
Well, what I like to do with sometimes with three-quarter pictures. Okay. This will help me. I think about a high. I again thinking about hieroglyphics. I always use letters and stuff. So I'm gonna give you an example, like just a quick one. Like I use words like the. Okay, so let's say I use that word. So what I think is eyebrows, eyes, nose, mouth. Okay, so my mouth, your eyebrows here. I'll start with the inner shape are L's. Can you see that?
Yeah,
Your eyes are going to be O shapes. Okay. So generally what that means, or what I would do here is something like this. Okay. So if you picture it, I'm thinking about an O. Okay. And then I just kind of bring this around, and then I'll do something like this. You see? So
Yeah.
L and an O, or you can think of them as this, as the six, which is another way. All right. You see the six shape?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now you have a V. So what I do is I might look at the point of your nose here. You have a pretty straight bridge there. So what I might do is I think of actually with your nose, I might do a J because your nose is kind of not, no. That's kind of negligible. I think I'm gonna do it like this. Um, now I'm gonna go with the V shape, like I said. Okay, and then this part just kind of sticks out like that, and then you have your, now you go with the mouth shape, right? Which would be, let me see. For this one here, I would just do a simple shape like this. You could, something like that. Uh, let's put your mustache here. Something like that. Okay. Then I'll put my bottom lip here. So I'll do something like this. Very important that you draw exactly what you see. Um, but use your imagination to make the shape kind of recognizable in a different way. This is going to be where I put your, yes, right. Okay. Now, when I get to this side, I usually work from the far side in. So what I might do here is this is kind of straight on your face. So I could just literally just get away with making a line like this. I can do like that. And I'm gonna come around here. This is not a big shape, so something like that. And then this. All right. You gotta forgive me. This is my first drawing of the day. No warm up.
No worries.
There's no warm up here. Okay. Then we're gonna come with the back half. So what we'll do here is we'll bring this shape from here, and then I'll come in like this. See, from here. And I'll just kind of shadow it in a bit. Then I'll go to my ear shape here normally, because I look at that crosshair line right there. I can see it in my head and stare. Um, you can never have a moment of doubt when you're doing this without a pencil. You have to be sure every line counts. Okay. That's why it's not a whole bunch of stuff going on everywhere. It's not a bunch of scribbles and that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we'll come over here and we'll just kind of fold your neck over here. Right. Right. Got your wrap around here. Right. And then we're gonna go to your head, your upper head shape. So you'll notice how what I'm gonna do here is I'm probably gonna, yeah, I think I'm gonna foreshorten it. A lot of times, well, what that means is that I need to have an imbalance between the top and bottom of the head. Generally, even though your forehead looks bigger here, I usually foreshorten that in relation to the jawline. So that's an example of with caricature. A lot of times you want to draw from what you know and not
Right.
necessarily what you're seeing. You get what I'm saying? How do I make it look like that or get that effect? And a lot of people would think, well, go really big on this forehead, but really, if you sit back and look at it, I'll do like this, like you got your boom, boom, and if I do like this, right, and then I come around here, You see how short I made this relate in relation. Now this is your wrinkles in your forehead here. You see, and then the hair is going to be in parts. So what I do is I think of the hair in layers. So this is the front of the head. This is the back of the head. This is the side of the head.
Wow.
Okay. You see how I drew them in literally in sections? Because that's how a barber would cut your hair, for instance, you know. Now, once I do that, I could have gave you a little bit more nostrils and stuff on this side, like you got here. And or I could just do something like this, and it kind of gives the same concept. I really wanted to flare that
Wow.
out a little bit more, but I just unfortunately it's some things you can't take back once you do it, right? Let me see here. All right. So then from here, I mean the drawing is
Yeah.
uh pretty much drawn here. I can't really see. So then I'll add some little, you'll see me add my shadows last. You know, you've seen my videos enough to know how I do that. But I'll go ahead and knock that out for you. All right. So once I finish, I'll go over here to my grays or my colors, whichever way. All right. In fact, tell you what.
We're lucky today we might get some color.
Yeah. So
That's
this
great.
is this right here is my color thing. Hold on, let me just empty my pencil sharpener. Okay. Always keep your sharp pencil. Right.
Nice.
Then so what I'm gonna do is a quick coloring job. With colors, what how I prefer to color again for speed is to outline all of the places in the face where there's going to be shadows and darks at, and I outline that with my pencil right underneath the nose, depending on where my light source is, and usually I just keep one common light. So if I wanted the light to come from this way and go that way, obviously everything on this face, if I made a line through it, will get lighter as the shade moved across the shapes. But just keeping it simple will just add a few little darks here, and then you'll see how we kind of close off the gap between them.
What are you using what do you like to use to color images?
I use anything that I'm gonna tell you. I go by. I don't have a favorite pencil. Uh, this pencil right here. I'm gonna tell you these pencils. I bought these at Ross.
Oh,
It
nice.
was just in the section. You know, when you go on Ross, they'll have they have all kinds of little art supplies there. And when I see the art supplies, I'm like a deer in headlights. My wife always says, "You stay out of the art section because if I go in the art section, I'm going to buy something." Right. And so, but it's usually inexpensive stuff that I use. These right here actually were on sale. They had like 5 boxes of them, right? And they were like $6 a box. And then I said, you know what? So I tried it on a an art pad that was there in the store. I shouldn't have done that. And but it was a but it was a really, and when I started coloring with it, I was like, I could get used to this. And so it's really, I guess the answer to my question is really about how you feel when you put that marker in your hand. You know what I mean? This one I like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you because they're very sturdy pencils. Like, you know, they don't break easy. The leads don't break, and I have big hands, so I need to have something where, because like you see here, I don't color with my pencil. I don't color like this, or I don't turn my pencil up like this and color like most people color like this. My
Mm,
hands are always very far back from the front, so I'm always using motions like this or motions like this. You know what I'm saying? I'm constantly switching
Okay.
in between my motions. So when I draw like this allows me to create lines without too much pressure from the back of my pencil, and I can cover large spaces very quickly. If I got a line of 30 people, I don't have a lot of time to be doing all this, right? So
Right.
so as I'll go through this part very fast, okay? So you'll see how I did that. Now what I'm going to do is I will close the gap between the white and the paper. So what I
Okay.
do now is I come back and I'll say, okay, now if you look here, okay, so you can see all the gap has been closed so that the picture looks like now two layers. Now,
Wow.
generally for your individual skin color, I would go with before I go with anything else, I'll usually combine these markers here. Now these are World of Colors by Crayola. I like to use these a lot. And this is a very light rose color. You can see in your skin that you have a hints of red in your skin.
Hmm.
Okay, so what I want to do is I want to use that to my advantage. So watch how I take this pink and it's coloring over the top of colors that I already made, so it's not going to overdo it where you just look like you got a lot of pink in your face or blushy. But excuse me, you see, it's just very easy concept. Okay. Now, once I got that in there, you know what else I just actually missed here. Hold on. I gotta go further back in here. And the reason is because your hair in the front, you can see through to your scalp.
Hmm.
Kind of. You get what I'm saying? Like right in that area. You see what I'm talking about? Right here?
Yeah, yeah.
You could lightly see it, you know, with there. So now what we'll do here is we'll go with all of our lights first. So I've got a blue marker here. Let's see here. I'm gonna do something like this. All right. So I'll put your color in there, and then we'll come back with your dark. So this is a deep almond color. I think I'm gonna use a medium, light medium almond. See what we got there. That one's not gonna give me just a sec here. Light medium almond. Yep, that's not the one. Hold on, I got it. Okay. Ah, there we go. Okay. So then we'll just come back. This is where my darks come in. So I use like a gold. Actually, this is a golden color, the deep golden. So here you'll see I use just kind of like I use the gray marker. You see how it starts bringing out like all the little details. All right. Now up here, we'll just use the same color. Okay. Kind of see a little bit of a pull through. And then as we go back here, you'll see the hair begins to get darker and darker as it goes into
Wow.
your beard shape here. You see what I'm saying? Maybe come over here and you color this in.
The overall effect you're able to get using these markers and pencils, it almost kind of recalls like the airbrush a bit. It's got like that
The
kind of
airbrush
style.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually hold on a second. Let me hold on. I gotta plug my hold on. Hold on. One sec, bro.
No worries.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah, it does. In fact, I like to use those. I'm actually an airbrush artist. I do a lot of airbrush.
Oh,
Like
nice.
so I like to have those smooth feels in between one thing and the next, that transition and all the cool gradients and shades you can do um with this. I'm just gonna give you a little bit more on this because I think that'll help it. Yeah. Okay. At the end, I'll just do like little makeup work, like where I add darks around the mouth or whatever.
Wow.
This might be my. This is a. This would be what I call in my from my menu, if you would, is a half body black and color. You know what I mean? So I do
Yeah.
that, and pretty much that's it. And then you just
Wow.
sign it off. Okay, you got a lot of details, but with
It all came together really well.
minimal effort. You don't want to put too much. I rely more on my shadows and line my shadows to create the drawing versus so much like because there's two different ways to approach this. You'll see some caricaturists, they have a very what's the here, let me just put this. They have a show you what I mean. Um I have a wait, hold that in here somewhere. Mm, I might have. Oh wait, I think I got it right here. Okay, I'm just going to use this blue one, but they color all of these markers color just about the same, but the purple or whatever. But they like to use like the line, like very thick lines. So for instance, if I was drawing this profile, like with this marker, they might have wanted to do the profile. They have like sometimes you'll see me use a lot of sweeping lines. Now these lines, if you'll notice, they have a little bit of a different
Hmm.
feel than what we used at the first time. You see, it's just a different idea. Here would be a little bit more. All right, so now I can do this with the nose. Now this is a little bit more like, you know, I can do like this. Whatever,
Yeah, very
And then
different feel, and it's interesting.
yeah, these are but they use a lot of this is a different way to do it, but kind of like they hide, sometimes you can hide behind the line. So you can't, let me give you I guess the easiest way to put it is you can draw with a thin marker, but when you draw a thin marker, if I do like this, I gotta know what I'm doing
Yeah,
because you can see every motion. But with these, because so much of the surface area is on the mark on the things, you don't have to have as much control of the marker because it's a bigger marker. Like a
right.
4x4 drive handles better off road than a regular car would because the tires are bigger.
And I
So
like
these
those thicker markers. I love how that looks because you can get a lot more line variance, which I feel like adds
yes,
an interest to the picture too.
to the picture, right. I think that and exactly. So sometimes I'll draw. You can do it with these too. You just have to be more. It's just not as extreme. So when I'm drawing a profile of a face here, I might be like, okay. So I can go from a very swooped in line to a very, you know what I'm saying, thicker line
Yeah,
using the same idea, and then I can still go with something like if I wanted to go very small, like very thin, you can see how you can back off to make the line a lot thinner. You know what I mean? So it could be done with
Yeah.
any marker that you do, but these are going to be easier to do it with because of how big the marker is. And plus it points at the top. So you can
Mhm.
literally take the marker and do like this and make this line, right? Or I could go somewhere in between and make this line. You know what I mean? Or I can go super extreme and make that line. It all depends on what you're trying to do. Yeah.
Well, this
So
is
there you
great.
go.
Yeah.
That's my rendition of you. Real quick, right? I think my
Yeah,
wife
yeah.
did this.
It's really good for the first drawing of the day too, I gotta say.
Yeah, thank you. I so appreciate you, Alex, man. Super awesome. You know, I
Yeah.
really appreciate you having me on your show, man. And hopefully we can, I don't know, one day do it again soon.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
for
has been great.
sure.
My last question for you for the night, I guess,
Yes.
is where can people find you? What are the best links?
Okay, well, the best links to find me at are going to be obviously on my YouTube channel. I have the Rouser World at YouTube. Everything Patreon. Now here, I could just do this for you because I think it's easier. All right, so here, this is my regular uh this is my website. So it's rouserworld.com. And then if you want to book classes, it's at /classes. And then it'll take you right to my website where you can book the class from. The next one is obviously if you go Browser World at YouTube, you'll be able to go to YouTube and look us up and learn from there. This is our Patreon page. So
Nice.
Patreon is our fan support page. You're basically this is where I was telling you where I kind of do a lot of behind the scenes things. I'll even demonstrate life uh, what we're saying. I could demonstrate my thoughts through a drawing. So it's kind of like I'm talking about this idea, but not necessarily the idea has to do with drawing, but it's um it's nevertheless an artistic expression of a mental process. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? Almost so that
Yeah.
because sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 words, so you can check that out. Other than that, I have TikTok, all under the same name. TikTok and Instagram. I generally only post short videos there, like reveals, stuff like that.
Okay.
And sometimes you'll see me do the talking head thing in my car because when I get to work, that's the only quiet time that I have. So I can do videos of my kids. I might be doing a video at home and they might just turn the lights off in my office. Yeah, I mean, like you know what I'm saying? I literally drew the light. I just drew the lights out, right? I don't know. I was like, man, but yeah, those are all of our websites and stuff. My live streams are on every Saturday and Tuesday. And now I just started doing Spanish streams.
Oh,
So
nice.
my Spanish streams are on Mondays and Thursdays, and those are at 10 o'clock a.m. So everything is in Central Standard Time. So
All right.
the Tuesday and Saturday streams are at 9:30 a.m. at Central Standard Time, and then you have your Mondays and Thursdays for the Spanish stream because I've been developing quite a following in the Spanish speaking countries and that want to learn because they really love art in those Spanish
Yeah,
countries and stuff. They really are big into art. So yeah,
that's great. You're branching out. What's on
trying
the
to.
horizon, you think?
You know,
Might be too soon to say.
no, I'm gonna tell you what I see um on the horizon. My my goal is to I want to still continue to draw, but I want to take the show on the road
Hey,
where I I take my drawing pad, but I go around and I encourage people with the gospel, but I'm using drawings to do it. So I kind of like a public speaker slash caricature artist because I like to talk to people. I like to encourage people. Um, I think that the only difference between a good teacher and a bad teacher is the good teacher is able to make you rethink your steps by giving you a visual understanding of what he's trying to explain to you. Real change won't happen in your thinking unless the picture is clear.
Right.
I think I just said that. I'm gonna coin that. Okay. Yes, sir.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us today, doing some drawing and talking about your story, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Alex. It was super. I feel honored to be able to be a part of this. I wish you a lot of success in what you're doing. Don't forget to share that link with me,
Oh, I
the
won't.
behind the big head, because I'm going to definitely put that out there on my I'm going to mention you on my channel. I also appreciate the fact that you took classes with me and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And that was super awesome, man. So yeah, let's do this again sometime. And
All right. Sounds good to me.
that's it. All right. Thank you so much, Alex. You
Yep.
have an
Enjoy the
awesome
rest of
day.
your day.
Yep. Thank
Thanks.
you. All right. Bye bye.
Bye.